Welcome back to the Highest Self Podcast. My name is Sahara Rose, and this podcast is all about taking spirituality and making it modern, fun, grounded, real, relatable, sexy, so you can feel like your most embodied self. So to me, your highest self is not this thing that's outside of you. It's not this thing you got to figure out and become and transcend all desires and humanly possessions, but rather it's how can I be more embodied and integrated in my pleasure and joy in my heart and my senses? Because that's how we cultivate that hot girl energy, which is what we're going to be diving into in today's conversation. So what does hot girl energy mean? So I feel like this is a term that Megan Thee Stallion made really popular. You know, she would always talk about, I'm a hot girl and I do hot girl things. I was just like, ooh, that's a vibe. I feel like 2020 was that year that, we started talking about like having a hot girl summer. Like I can't wait to have it once we're out of quarantine. And now to me, every summer is a hot girl summer. Like moving forward, I am only having hot girl summers. So to me, a hot girl energy is really a state of consciousness. It's not about looking a certain way, though we are going to talk a little bit about how style is a part of it, but rather it's you feeling confident, you feeling bold, you feeling expressed, and you feeling embodied. So for me, I had a massive glow up that happened after my divorce because I really stepped into what does hot girl energy feel like for me? So before that, I had a little microdose. I had a little tasty taste of it here and there, but I would say I wasn't fully living in it because I had these illusions of, oh, well, I'm married. So let me dress like this, like whatever. I already have a man. I don't need to impress anyone. And then I realized after I'm like, I don't do this for a man. I do this because I feel more vibrant. I feel more alive. When I'm wearing a cute outfit, I feel more radiant. I feel inspired, even if it's just at home. So I started to become more mindful of the colors that I was wearing, the style that I wanted to emit, the way that I wanted to show up on social media, and showing more of who I really am inside and express it out into the world. So step one is really taking an inventory of who am I right now and who do I want to become? So coming up with some words that you want to be part of your hot girl brand. And again, whether you have a social media or not, you are your personal brand at all times. Every conversation you have, every person you meet is an embodiment of you. So when someone's talking to you, they're getting a little tasty taste like, I like that. That is spicy. Or, ooh, that's so sweet. Or, wow, that is really edgy. So what are those terms? Do you want to be seductive and mysterious? Maybe you wear a lot of black and purple and leather and velvet, and you have this like magician feel to you. Maybe you want to be hot pink with feathers and really bright and loud and neon and sparkly and like just take up a lot of space. Maybe you want to be kind of like the sexy goth who's like more of like a Megan Fox, Hot Topic kind of vibe. Maybe you want to be J-Lo circa 2000s, velour jacket, hoops, baby girl, the little hairs gelled down. So what's your vibe? And how can you take it up a notch? Because often we are very inspired by people that we see on the streets who are bold in their fashion. Like I love seeing the older women, like the grandmas, who are just like wearing like bright colors, statement pieces. And to me, that is so inspiring because they're just doing it for them. I follow some like Instagrams like that. And it's like these fellow like older ladies and they see each other on the streets. They're like, I love your fit. They're like, I love yours too, girl. And it's so fun to see because they're not like, oh, now I'm old, so I got to wear like the old people stuff and no one cares about me and I got to cover myself and I'm forgotten in society, which is the story society tells us, right? But instead, they're like, oh, I'm no longer living based on anyone else's approval or expectation. And instead, I'm going to dress how I want to dress. And that shifts your energy. So I'm starting there because how we show up in the world is going to share the feedback that we're getting from other people. So, one concept that I love about the Burning Man culture is we are co-creating the experience. Like every single person there is an offering to the collective. So you just emitting this vivacious energy in whatever flavor and texture you want to embody it in is inspiring people around you. It's inspiring people to show up as more of their full selves. So think of embodying your hot girl energy really as an act of service, because it is. Because you are actually giving people a permission slip to be more authentically themselves. You don't know how many people I get every single day saying, thank you for sharing your twerking on Instagram, because that inspired me to start showing my sensuality more and to stop blaming and judging myself or feeling like, oh, because I'm spiritual, I can't also be sensual and feminine. Thank you for being the example of a serial entrepreneur with numerous 7-figure businesses who's also a DJ and having fun and expressed and laughing and being silly and not taking herself so seriously. Thank you for showing me that you can do both. Thank you for writing books on spirituality with forewords by Deepak Chopra, and then going to Afrobeats festivals and winding up on the dance floor and showing me that you can be all of these things. And again, that doesn't mean they want to do exactly what I'm doing, but I am being a permission slip of what's possible when you step out of this linear way thinking and being, which, by the way, makes you fucking miserable. And then you wonder why I don't have that same vivacious energy and spark, because you're just trying to fit the standards of this society that is designing women to hate themselves. Like, it is teaching us, don't be too loud, don't be too emotional, don't be too this, don't be too that. You're going to be too much for people, and they can't handle you. So tone it all down. Were you told as a young girl, you're too loud, you're too talkative? Who was like, every parent-teacher conference, she talks too much, right? It's like, hello, we're social ass beings. I mean, I was definitely told I talk too much, and this is why I just like blah, blah, blah for a living. So that very thing that was like our bubbly, sparkly energy that like saw the other kids in school and wanted to talk, and we just had so many things to discuss. It was like we were made wrong for it. We were told, sit quiet, stay in this little freaking desk. You couldn't even open up your arms. It was like so much gum under there. It was nasty. Sit down 8 hours a day, don't move. And if you move, if you fidget, you have ADD, you have ADHD, you have this, you have that, something's wrong with you. So we've been trained to have cold girl energy instead of hot girl energy. We become cold. We become numb. We've become dense. We've become this like shell of ourselves. And that was like a huge thing I noticed even from moving from Miami back to LA. Because in Miami, people carry a lot of hot girl energy there. Like, it's part of the Latin culture where people are very bold and expressed and unapologetic about it. That it's like, no matter what your body size is, like, you flaunt it. And you don't give a shit. And you're gonna wear your neon and your jewels and your hair extensions. You're gonna do the damn thing. And it's just like everyone is supportive of it. Whereas in LA, it's a lot of these women I see, and I'm doing a generalization here, I'm not saying everyone, but I see this culture where it's like over-exercising, overexerting, under-eating, like really nervous and on edge and out of our body and emaciated and like trying to reach this level of perfection, and then like plastic and numb and like no facial expression from all of the Botox and the fillers and the this. And it's just like, we're like these like alien beings. And that is very unattractive because it's like no one wants to sleep with an alien being. That's the opposite of hot girl energy. You know, we're attracted to, especially the feminine, it's our aliveness, it's our juiciness, it's our pleasure, it's our sensuality, it's our receptivity to life. The fact that we're like making love to life, like that's what makes us magnetic. But if we're like, okay, am I perfect enough? Am I thin enough? Did I wear this thing? Just all grays, all neutral, stand in the box, like, keep going to soul cycle, spinning until I'm like basically no longer existing. It's like, you're so fragile and weak at that point. And that's what society wants us women to become: fragile, weak, undernourished, because then we're not in our fucking power. Right? But when we take up space and we're like, yes, bitch, I'm gonna be loud, I'm gonna share how I feel, and I'm gonna dress like this for me. Because when I'm turned on by myself, I don't need someone else to tell me I'm good enough. I don't need to chase external validation. I don't need to chase approval because I'm so filled up with that from myself. I am oozing and radiating that self-love. And that's actually what makes you really magnetic when you are self-sourced. Right? Think about a waterfall. It's just gushing and gushing and gushing with more nectar, more amrita, more life force. It's like this constant like nectar from the gods oozing out of you. That is the truth of who you are. You are a waterfall of creativity, of love, of pleasure, of ideas, of inspiration, of connection, of nourishment. It's just that we have been so malnourished in our societies that we are just dried the fuck up. We are in dry bitch energy rather than WAP energy. And that WAP energy is what's going to make us feel so enriched and tantalized and again, turn on by ourselves that then life becomes a seductive dance. You're flirting with the universe for you, right? Like I read this quote that I love. It's, I'm flirting with myself through you. And when you see that, it's just like, I'm going to flirt with life. Instead of putting up this wall, putting up this front, trying to, I'm going to say the right thing at the right time because I'm a high value woman. That's what the high value women say. Got to make sure I saved that Instagram post and said it exactly the way that they told me to say it. But instead, it's just like, I'm going to flirt because I want to, not because I need anything. That's freaking sexy. That's some hot girl energy right there. And then you get filled up with that. It feels good for you because you're detached from the outcome. You're not manipulating. You're not needing anything from anyone else. You get to live in the state of turn on and flow and juiciness for you, period, regardless of the outcome. And that's that shift, right? It's like, remember when you would go out maybe in college and you would like get super dressed up and get ready for the boys? Oh my God, I hope he's there at the frat party tonight. I hope he's at the club. And we're like getting ready, but it's like, so we can get something. And then the way that the night went, if it was a fun night or not a fun night, was based on, did we get that guy that we wanted? Did we get the attention that we wanted? But instead, when you get older, it's like the most fun part is like me just getting ready and feeling good and dancing to some Genuine and having fun with my friends and taking pictures. It's like that in itself is enough. Now everything else is just a bonus. And then no one can make or break your joy because it's coming from you. You get to choose if the night is fun or not if some dude who you're going to forget his name in a week, let's be real, talk to you or not. So when we can become self-sourced, and that doesn't mean like, I will never need a man and I'm Miss Independent forever. It doesn't mean that at all. There's still that feminine yearning and that space to be met by the masculine. But that feminine yearning is very different from a feminine neediness. A feminine neediness is, I'm going to dress like this so I can get you. And once I got you, I'm going back to the granny panties. And we do that. And then it's like, then we're wondering why the relationship isn't as hot anymore because we were only doing that thing to get somewhere. And then we got that thing. And then we're like, okay, that was all a mask and an illusion. I don't actually feel comfortable holding my energy here. If you want this to become your new vibration, you got to be it all the time. Not just when you have the man, not just when you have the body, not just when you have the thing. That's actually how you become those things. When you are feeling hot, you attract the relationship. When you're feeling hot, you have the energy to go exercise and take care of your body, but you're not doing it for those things. That's the difference there. You are self-sourced. You are that waterfall. You are that flow. You are that amrita. You are that juicy nectar of life. So hot girl energy really is a state of consciousness, just like twerking is a state of consciousness. Like everywhere I go, everyone's like, can you teach me how to twerk? And I've tried and I realized I really can't teach someone how to twerk because it's a state of consciousness of being very grounded in your body. When you are rooted in your body and you are grounded and you are connected to your feminine and your hips, like naturally this gyration comes online. It's like your body starts to move and express itself in a certain way. It's like, did anyone teach you how to have sex? Like, no, it's like your body, it's in your body, it's in your being. And the more safety you experience within yourself, the more liberated and expansive you become. And that's how hot girl energy works. No one can actually really teach it to you. But what I can do is remind you that it's there. It's dormant within you. It's waiting to come online in your own unique way. But there's just these layers of conditioning right now that you are holding on to, these beliefs of, if I show up as my hot girl self, then, and I want you to fulfill that sentence right now. If I show up in my hot girl energy, then my husband will leave me. My friends will be intimidated by me. People will be jealous of me and I will be alone. My colleagues won't take me seriously. What will my kids say? So what are those things for you? Let's get freaking honest about them, because they're going to be lingering in the corners of your mind and subconsciously running the show until we give them that space. So in my embodiment certification, where we really dive into this work, and if you're interested, I have that link in the show notes. If you're interested in becoming a certified embodiment coach and diving into your own embodiment energy, which just takes everything I'm saying to like the deepest level. But I was coaching one of my students, and she had this fear of, I want to be more sensual, but what will my children say if their mom is like dancing and their mom is dressing, more sensually? They're gonna look down. I don't want to put my kids through that. And what I helped her understand is, wouldn't we love to be the example for our children, for our daughters, of what an embodied woman looks like, and also for our sons of what an embodied woman looks like? Like, are we actually helping our kids by being so drowsed from our pleasure that we're showing them the example of what a burned out, people-pleasing, overwhelmed, running on overdrive, exhausted woman is like? Like, that's going to be the girl's expectation for herself and the man's expectation from his partners. That's not what we want. We want to show our children what a nourished and relaxed nervous system, an open body, and sensuous woman, which, by the way, in many cultures around the world is very normalized. You go to many cultures in Africa and women have their breasts out all the time. It's not even sexualized. It's very normal. You breastfeed your children. It's completely normal. The women dance and they gyrate their hips. It's normal. We don't need to hide this from them. It's not like, God forbid, my mom is a sensual being. How dare I know this? It's like our Western society. It's like, as a kid, it was like always like the worst thing ever if you're like, oh my God, I think my parents have sex. Like, I'm traumatized. Like, what if they have sex? It's like, no fucking shit. Where do you think you came from? Right? Like, why are we so traumatized by this fucking obvious fact? Yeah, your parents have sex. I hope they have sex. That would be great for them if they have sex. Parents should have more sex. But we've turned this into this like thing of like, God forbid mom has a body. God forbid there's any romance happening in our family. God forbid there's any pleasure. So then what example are we showing in ourselves? No wonder we don't feel comfortable in our pleasure and our sensuality and our hot girl energy, because we have been trained generationally to hide those things, which comes from religion of those things are impure. Those things are dirty. That's a sin. That is shameful. But it's the truth of who we are. It's actually where we all come from. Like, you are an orgasm in human form. I hope you know this. Like, literally, orgasmic energy is what creates life. It's the truth of who we are. That's why often when you sit in a deep meditation or a plant medicine ceremony, you come into this like orgasmic energy, and that's you tuned into the life force of what is. Like, the universe is constantly breathing and inhaling and exhaling and microcosmic orbiting us. Like, we are always living in the orgasmic flow of the divine. That is the truth of who we are. So when we cut ourselves off from our sensual energy, we're cutting ourselves off from our life force, from the very thing that created all of us. So instead, let's play with it rather than being so afraid of it. I love going to different cultures and seeing like the children are dancing and the parents are dancing. And it's not this shameful thing that we have to be afraid of, because let's be real, the more we make something shameful, the more we will have the opposite, right? If you went to a Catholic school, we all know what went down there. Let's be real. It's like the more you make something not allowed. Where I come from, Iran, one of the most repressed countries on human earth, where dancing is illegal, singing is illegal, definitely wearing this outfit is illegal. I mean, showing any form of hair, skin, anything is legal. That's where my family comes from. And here I am breaking major ancestral bonds to even be sharing this with you. And when I share it, I not just help other Iranian women, but I help many women step into their more full spectrum self. And I'm someone that comes from probably the most suppressed country on earth. So if it's possible for me, someone that's come from a lineage of forced child marriage, coming from a lineage where no woman has even worked, let alone talked on a podcast about orgasms, and here I am because of the depth and inquiry that I've gone to, then you know it's possible for you too. And you know that whatever the fears are, it's just a story in your head. And by the way, those very people that you're so worried about dictating your life, the colleagues, what if they talk about me, those old high school friends, do you even like them? Let's be real. Like, do you actually like these people? Do you actually really care about their opinion? No, probably not. But here you are letting them dictate your entire life. You are not living your most expansive, liberated, vivacious, free, embodied self because you are so concerned with what Katie from high school has to say about your Instagram story. You are so concerned what Sally in human resources might say about you going to a pole dancing class. You are so concerned about your mother-in-law, which, by the way, already has a list of things that she doesn't like about you, might say if you wear the corset top. Fuck it. They're going to talk shit regardless. Be you. Fall in love with yourself. And by the way, your biggest haters are your biggest fans always. And then soon, Katie and Sally and mother-in-law, they're going to want to wear the corset and come to the pole dance class too. Trust me. They might not just tell you it right now, but they will. You're inspiring them from afar. And by the way, the people who can't handle being in your field don't need to be. You're not forcing anyone to be here. You're not forcing anyone to watch. They're choosing to, right? So give them a freaking show. Have some fucking fun. Be your full spectrum self that you fall in love with yourself. You know, one of the biggest things that helped me fall in love with myself is DJing. Because for me, I've always loved DJs. I've been enamored by DJs. And then I was like, no, bitch, I'm going to be the DJ. I'm going to be the one who creates the vibe that I always wished existed. I love listening to reggaeton, to Afro beats, to 2000s hip hop, to tribal trap music. This is what I'm getting down to, but I've never seen a party where people are sacred twerking before. So I'm going to be the first one to do it. And people might talk shit about it and think it's crazy, and I might have some haters, but you know what? I get to live my fucking dharma, and that's a lot of fun. And guess what? I started to do it, and I would put myself out there at, a friend, first my birthday, and I was like so nervous, and then my friend's event, and then another one, and then I started getting hired at festivals, and now I've done numerous festivals, and this summer alone, I'm DJing in Estonia, and in Quebec, and in Portugal, and in Greece. And it's just getting started. And I'm DJing at festivals that are like my dream festivals to go to, like Envision Festival and so many more, because I'm stepping into this unknown. And I'm being the vibration that I wished existed rather than waiting for a permission slip. Because, honey, waiting for someone else to invite you to be your hot girl energy is not your hot girl energy. You got to choose that shit. And you got to pave that road for yourself, because there's only one hot girl vibration that you can carry, and it's yours fully. And no one else can replicate it. Because you might even wear the same outfit as someone else, but your flavor, your magic sauce, your way of expressing the stories that you share, the vibration, your aura, all of these things are uniquely you. And they're also ever changing due to your life experiences. So when you can open and surrender into it and trust that you are being guided to express your soul's purpose, your dharma in this way that it's asking to come through, and letting go of the judgment and shame around, well, I can't be this way because I won't be taken seriously, because people don't like a woman who's too embodied, who's too sensual, who's too powerful, who's too fierce, who's too bold, who's too confident. The more we can drop those stories, the more we experience the truth of who we are on the other side. It's like letting go of all of the weight that our balloon has been carrying. And the more we drop that limiting belief of I'm too loud, I can't be expressed, I can't be too arrogant. They'll think I'm arrogant. They'll think I'm a hoe. They'll think I'm this. They'll think I'm that. The more we let go of these weights, the more we soar and soar and soar. And then we're all of a sudden this like higher level perspective and vibration where anything is possible. And we're literally manifesting in rapid speed. It's like you have a thought and that thing shows up instantly in your reality. It's like for me at this point, it's like I have something, I'll write it down and it just happens. Because I'm living in this cosmic quantum field where God is my Dom and I'm trusting the divine and I'm listening. And from that space, I'm like, ooh, what else do I get to play with? How else can I make my life more fun and juicy? And then all of a sudden, I'm literally living dreams that I never even knew was possible, and also trusting that there are dreams I haven't even dreamed yet that I will be living one day, because God is my Dom and there's something so much greater for me on the other side. So that really is what embodying your hot girl energy is about. It's about trust. It's about surrender. It's about listening to your intuition. It's about honoring your dharma, your soul's purpose. It's about feeling your full spectrum self. I created the triple E embodiment method that I share in my embodiment certification. Emote, embody, and express. These are core tenets of hot girl energy. Feel those emotions that you are holding on to underneath it all, the anger, the sadness, the grief, the shame. By the way, to be a bad bitch, you first got to step into your sad bitch. You got to feel your feels. You got to cry those cries. You got to let it out. We can't bring that into the future. We got to feel what's present for us right now and let go of the past by being present with what is. So emoting, feeling what's underneath the hood of the car, whether it is shaking, dancing, twerking, screaming in the car, grunting, your self-pleasure practice, feeling what is there, because we have to purify those denser emotions to create that space to let go of the weight. And then from that place, embody. What does your body tell you? Where do you feel it in your body? Is it in your heart? Is it these butterflies in your heart that are wanting to come alive, that want to just love, but you're not allowing yourself to admit it to you? Is it in your womb of this deep desire to create and to birth things into reality? Is it in your solar plexus, this desire to do and to be in action? Where do you feel it? How is it embodied? And then how can we use dance as a practice to amplify this energy? So if I want to feel more pleasure, how can I dance my pleasure? How can I use self-touch? How can I dance what feels really juicy and radiant for me? So then I'm practicing the energy that I'm calling in. If it's more ease, how can I dance with more ease and flow and surrender? If it's more empowerment, how can I dance my empowerment? Maybe some tribal music that really gets me going. So using embodiment and dance and movement as a way to bring your body into the vibrational state that you are calling in. Because the mind is a reflection of the body. And a congested body, a stuck body. Like think about when you're sitting on the airplane for too long and you're like so small and you're tight and you're like cold and dry and crackly. Well, if your body is in that asana at all times, your mind is going to be like that. Your mind is going to be limited in its thinking, limited in its possibility. No, that can never happen. I should do this. I shouldn't do that, because your body is in that rigid state. But when you open up your body to pleasure, to expansion, to joy, to ease, to fluidity, to all forms of expression and aliveness, then all of a sudden your mind is seeing perspectives you would have never seen before. It's coming up with ideas you've never seen before. Like the way that I channel here on this podcast, it's a reflection of my embodied state. That I am living this vibration from within, so I am expressing it from without because I'm committed to my embodiment practice. And then expression, how you speak, how you communicate, your poetry, your art, your dance, using all pain in life to become your greatest masterpiece that you share on the other side. Because now for me, when I'm going through a challenge, I always know, oh, this is going to be my podcast one day. I already know I'm going to turn it into my art and I'm going to find the lesson, the meaning beyond it. And that's how I transmute lessons through life. I find the gems and I share them with others so I don't need to hold on to them anymore. So really the hot girl journey is the spiritual journey. I got you there. I got you listening to the whole episode to drop in that little download for you. And here we are. I hope this brought you to a state, but you can see it's all interconnected. That thing that you want in life to be juicy and flirting with the universe, that's all within you, baby. It's all within you. It's just asking you to dive into your heart, your soul, your purpose, and to listen and to surrender and trust that everything that you are seeking is seeking you back. Your dreams are dreaming you back. Your highest self is always supporting you. It's always whispering to you. God is always like, baby girl, I got you. I'm your Dom. Sky Daddy has your back. I'm going to show you what's up. And sometimes I'm going to take you to things that you might not like right now, but it's always in your highest good. And we can really lean into that vibration, really lean into that way of living life. Then all of a sudden, everything becomes so much more fun and playful because we're in constant conversation with our highest selves. So I hope you love this episode. It was a lot of fun for me to do. And if you want more conversations like this, I'm really curious what topics, what questions you have. Leave a review for me in the iTunes store. I read all of the reviews and share with me if you love this episode. Like, I'm putting myself out here, so let me know if you like it. And as a free gift for leaving a review, I will send you my womb meditation. So this is a meditation for you to drop into your sacred womb space. This is the part of you that knows, deeply related to your sensuality, whether you have a physical womb or not. So this is a meditation, about 7-8 minutes. You drop right in, ask your womb questions, and the answers you get are beyond amazing. So to leave a review, just head over to the iTunes store, write your little review right there, any themes, questions you have, what you're loving, take a screenshot and email it over to me at sahara@iamsahararose.com, and I will send you back that womb meditation. Please share this on your Instagram. This is a great way of like coming out of the spiritual closet a little bit of like, okay, let me have Sahara say it because I'm really nervous to talk this way myself. So you can just like put me on the limb. I don't care. And it's just a fun way because then we start to find people like attracts like. We find people who are speaking our language. That's what I love the most about my event, the Highest Self Weekend. It was like 300 of us who are like sacred twerk queens who wanted to karaoke. We were singing Toni Braxton, "Unbreak My Heart, Say You Love Me Again." And it was so much fun. And we were like emoting and crying and releasing and stomping and going into the depths of our inner child and inner teenagers. It was full spectrum and everyone was a fuck yes for it. And I was like, oh, I found my people. But I found them by being that, by emitting that energy. So by sharing this podcast and sharing your unique vibration with the world, that is how we find ourselves alongside other people. And of course, my certifications at Highest Self Institute are a perfect way for you to find that community that you are seeking. So Highest Self Institute, we have 2 certifications right now, our certified embodiment coach certification, which is all about using the triple E method that I spoke about, emote, embody, and express, for you to really tune into what is alive in your body and how do we give that a voice? How do we give it a sound and a texture and a color and a quality, and then use our bodies to dance and express that thing so it can be shared and experienced? And the miracles that I've seen happen, people who've had lifelong traumas, who've been in repeated loop cycles that they've been talking about for like 20 plus years, within 30 minutes are all of a sudden freed from this energy because they were able to release it from their bodies and nervous systems. So this is what I train you to become a coach of in the Embodiment Coach certification. So if you're interested and curious, you can learn more about it in the show notes below. And we also have our certified Dharma coach, soul, purpose, and spiritual life coaching, which is all about helping people tune into their soul's unique purpose. So you've heard me talk about Dharma throughout this episode, and that really is the big reason why you are here. And you have one. You have a sacred calling. And this lifetime is really about figuring out what that is, which, by the way, is already within you. So if you are interested in learning about both of these certifications, head over to highestselfinstitute.com. You can find that link in the show notes below. Join our waitlist, get more information for when doors open again. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much for being open-minded, open-hearted, and ready to vibe with me. I'll see you in the next one.